Hi, my name is Ashley Thompson, and today we're going to go over John's scores. The first score that was given was for his intellectual and cognitive. It was the Rentel's Intellectual Assessment, and it measures individual intelligence for ages 3 through 94. There are some scales that Verbal Intelligence Index, Nonverbal Intelligence Index, and the Composition Intelligence Index. On the testing, John earned a Composition Intelligence Index of 90. On the RIAS, this level of performance falls within the range of scores designated as average, and it exceeds the performance of 25% of peers. The chances are 90 out of 100 that John's true scores falls within the ranges from 86 to 95. For the academic achievement, John was given the Woodcock-Johnson. It's a test that provides standard scores in the following areas: basic reading skills, reading fluency, reading comprehension, math calculations, math reasoning, and written expression. The test can be administered to the ages 2 through 90 years old. On John's scores, his reading skills fell below in the low average overall. In special education, we have a bell curve, and anything from 80 and above is considered average. Anything below 80 is considered below average. And so when looking at the scores for the Woodcock-Johnson, we can tell that for letter word identification, John scored 46 as a standard score, which is well below the standard score of 80. Sentence reading fluency was below average at 74. Passage comprehension, low with 69. His math calculation was at 76, which is below average. Applied problems in math was average. Spelling was well below average at 52. Written expression was 77, which is below average. And written language, 58, below average. This tells us that his weaknesses are in letter word identification, written language, spelling, and the passage comprehension. For adaptive behavior or social emotional, we used a rating scale of the Adaptive Behavior Scale Home version. It's used to rate daily living skills at home by parents and guardians. The rating scale is used for students ranging from 13 to 18 years old. John scored conceptual 87, social 85, and practical at 89. These are below average, meaning that there are some areas that he needs to improve upon. For speech and language, he was administered the Goldman-Bristow test of articulation to assess for sound production. A standard score of 89 was achieved with a percentile rank. The Arizona Articulation Proficiency Scale was given for articulation, and John scored a total of 96 and a standard of 85. So he scored in the average percentile for those. Observations was during illiteracy, and the room was well lit, comfortable. It was noisy, but the students were on task. Behaviors observed from John was that he was on task, but he was behind on the writing assignment of taking notes. The student has a history of being behind on written assignments. It's difficult for him to write legibly, and his reading comprehension is slow. So the conclusion of findings is that his intelligence was measured in the average range of a score of 90. So remember that our average range on a bell curve is 80 and above. So he scored a 90, which is average for his age level. After looking at all categories and testing, it is my final recommendation that John is a student with specific learning disability. I agree with the findings that John meets the category of SLD. SLD is a disorder in one or more of the basic psychological processes involved in understanding or in using language, spoken or written, that may manifest itself in an imperfect ability to listen, think, speak, read, write, spell, or do other mathematical calculations, including conditions such as perceptual disabilities, brain injury, minimal brain dysfunction, dyslexia, and developmental aphasia.